Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Geeks on Dice. This is kind of apology for whatever happened while I was uploading my last video, or the first Geeks on Talks video, which had Tim Kearney. Tim Kearney joined me, and we kind of had like a one-on-one chat of some tips and ideas and tricks for brand new DMs and new players. I've been meaning to for 2 weeks now to get back on a video and kind of make this video just kind of more or less I'm saying a lot, but it's kind of summarize what we were talking about when we did along the line, like we talked about a few different things. One of the things we talked about was consequences in D&D, and we both used different examples. He used an example that I thought was really neat of characters have a tendency to do anything willy-nilly. So he used the example of the rogue stole some money from one of the town's guards, and later on, the party comes across a man in a hooded cloak, and he pulls back to reveal it as his town's guard. And because you stole that money, he couldn't pay his rent, and his wife left him because they were kicked out on the street, and she took the child with him. So he's lived his life and took several levels in fighter, and he's lived his life in the pursuit of revenge for you for the last few months. Even it could have been because you did one small thing, but on that NPC's life, it had a huge impact. And those are the kind of things that can happen in a long-term game that you wouldn't really think about. And I really like that idea. The example I used was more of an immediate thing. Like, I had a player character at one point. Well, the rest of the team, as kind of one of their side quests that they're supposed to build up to, was hunt down a serial killer in a city. I'm building a large urban environment. And one of my players wanted her character to wander off in the sewers where the serial killer was rumored to be by herself. And I explained very clearly and concisely, as much as I could, that she can do this. I don't want to discourage my players or take away their agency of what they want to do. Yeah, and that's you, Misty, the only person watching my video. But one of the things I explained is you could do that, but it's going to end badly. You're going to die if you do that. Went further on to talk about a lot of different things, such as where you find inspiration for your games, which could be anything. And a more recent example is my brother's gearing up to DM for the first time himself. Our home group, me and him are going to alternate. We already have a home game on Tuesday, so we're going to alternate. And he's basing his on The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, which is, with me, him, and one of our other brothers, it's been I'm trying to think the word of it. We've been playing Zelda since we started playing video games. I started with Pokemon, and they started with Zelda, and it was not even months apart. So it's something he's very intimately familiar with. And if you're a new DM and you want to make this awesome campaign that you think people are going to enjoy, the best thing to do is to start with something you know. So obviously it doesn't have to be Zelda. It could be literally anything in the world. And I'm going to talk to Tim and hopefully get back a hold of him, and we're going to try to redo this, have some more conversation, talk about some of the things that kind of inspired us as we went along. But I look like I'm looking away right now, it's because I am. I'm looking at my notes from that session, which I should have pulled up before I started making this video. I have a really bad habit of not doing that. So another thing we were talking about is role play, and that sometimes you don't have to dive super far in it. You can just, if you're not the kind of person that wants to make the silly voices or act it out or do anything like that, you can say, well, my character would do this and this and this before doing this and this. I don't have a perfect example out right off the top of my head like I did then. It's super late. I'm tired. But one of the examples was like during combat. Yes, you can roll your dice. You say, I swing my battle axe. I hit him for 5 points. What have you. But why not spice it up a little bit every now and then, you know? Even with failures. And it's kind of more of our responsibilities as dungeon masters and game masters, which are the same thing. I don't know why I differentiate, but I do. But to kind of spice things up, when like in a failure, don't just say, "Oh, you swung and you missed." If it's raining outside, you slipped on the cobblestone. If you're in a crowded room, you mismeasure, you miscounted how high the ceiling is. Maybe something got in the way. Shout out from Majoraken. Okay, a quick shout out. This video is obviously meant for D&D, but my brother gives me shout outs. There is another YouTube channel called Majoraken. It's my brother. He streams different games such as Dark Souls. It Lies Within, correct? I think so. Yes. I don't know. Chat's a little slower than I thought it'd be. But so shout out for Majoraken, and again, shout out for Tim Kearney for joining me in the video he helped me with. Again, I hope I can get him back on my channel. I'm sure he will. Super cool guy. But check out his and his brother's channel, Tabletop Terrors. They do a bunch of cool stuff over there. Check out Dragon Grin, which they're making. Evil Within is the name of the game. I was just told. I'm sorry. But check out Tim and James's Evil Within. And as always, please, please, please check out the Absolute Tabletop Official RPG group. It's where I go to get inspiration. I look at the things people post all the time, and I'm just amazed by that group. With all the different minds working together all the time, and you find people post, okay, Dungeon Masters, how do you handle this situation? Okay, players, how do you deal with the Dungeon Masters like this? And it's just great advice, great people. If you're having trouble finding any kind of group, especially if you're just looking for an online group like I started out with, one of my players I've had for the year that I've been playing, and yes, I've only been playing for a year, I found through a Facebook group. So please check out the Absolute Tabletop group. I will put a link in the description below. I'm trying a different way to upload this video, so I don't know how long this will take to render. No problem, so fast I'll get it up there. And I will repost a link to Tabletop Terrors. So until then, one more word of advice before I leave. And it is again on roleplay. The thing I always tell my new players before they start playing, and before we start role playing and getting into the whole swing of the game, is don't be embarrassed about doing a silly voice. Don't be embarrassed about doing something you think might seem weird. You're already at the table. You already have the dice. You did the character sheet, and don't tell me it doesn't feel like homework, because it definitely feels like homework, but it's so worth it. But you're at the table already. You're already playing Dungeons and Dragons. Everyone at the table is already nerds. Everybody's geeks. Just go for it. No one's gonna make fun of you for it. But until then, until my next video, hopefully we get Curse on Dice together tomorrow. I gotta ask the group again. But until next time, goodbye.